This is the Gaggia Titanium, and right now mine has a leak. Whenever I operate the steaming wand, the hose inside leaks. But today I'm going to fix it. This is the steam valve, and I have two O-rings. These were purchased from Whole Latte Love. I read about fixing this at Gaggia.com. I'm going to remove two screws on the back side from here. I'm also going to remove the bean hopper, and there's 3 screws on top. These are all Phillips head screws. They should be fairly easy to remove. There's the 3 screws. It'll also be important to note the position of the grind adjust. Mine is on 4, and also the volume of the bean. There will be 2 more screws on the bypass hopper, here and here, and these are also Phillips head screws. Okay, the hopper is removed, and there it is. And there's the 3 screws. That was fairly simple. This is the inside, and you can see I've also loosened these screws on the back. However, they did not come out, but I do believe those are completely loose. So what remains is the bypass hopper. Okay, now we have separation. We still have my screws hanging in there. You can see 3 tabs, and I've begun to lift off the top. You have to lift out the bypass hopper. When you remove the lid, you can see there are some wires connected to the top. I don't think I need to remove those. I'm just going to set the lid aside and balance it there. Well, maybe I won't balance it. Balance it there. This is what I'm after. In here is the valve. You can see this water hose leading up here. So this is the steam valve. You can see it, the operation, as I turn the steam knob. Full to off. There are 2 screws. I'll try to stay out of the light. One down there that leads to the plastic cover, needs to be removed, and also one there. So I'll remove those screws now. Okay. To remove the steam valve, I had to remove it from the steam knob. You can see that there are 2 metal clips on there, and because mine was leaking, lots of steam and moisture got in there, mine are rusty. I thought I was going to have to remove this metal clip. That was proving to be very difficult. What I did is I removed this screw that holds the side frame on. That gave me a little flexibility, and the knob snaps right out. Okay, now that I have this a little bit free, you can see there is a spring clip on the hose that leads to the water hose leading in. There's the spring clip. Okay, I've removed the spring clip easily with the needle nose pliers. There's the hose, a little brass ring on the end. Okay, and now I've been able to snap off this cover from the back, and there's the back of the steam valve. And this is the piece I'm actually going to replace, and here's the hose. This is where all the leaking was coming. Okay, I've been able to get the steam valve out of the plastic housing. It was in there pretty good, nice clipped in strong. What helped me was to push on this back end piece and pull it out pretty evenly from side to side. I did rock it a little bit, but it did need to come pretty straight out. I did not have to remove any of the wires. This is what remains, is to remove this insulated hose from the connector, and that promises to be fun. Okay, I just got off the phone with the Whole Latte Love tech support concerning the removal of that clamp and getting that steam hose off. I did not receive with my order that clamp, so be sure you ask them to send you that clamp. That is a one-time use only clamp. So I will have to remove that, and the tech support said I could get from any auto parts store a fuel line pinch clamp. Okay, the lid has gotten in my way a number of times, so I simply slid off the green cable, which goes to this connector. And before sliding these off, you have one light blue line, one gray brownish line. So I've decided to write on there which one is blue. The two wires leading in are both blue. Okay, this was the pinch clamp, which ultimately I had to remove with this nice tool. That piece was on the end of this valve stem, and I thought that that was a seal piece that I needed. However, after talking to tech support, they believe that is a piece of the hose that got pinched off when it was originally installed. So what I will have to do is trim this up, and if I look in there I can see the silicone hose deep inside, so I'll have to trim that up and then just push it up farther when I install the new valve. Okay, so I've trimmed the frayed pieces off the end of that hose. You can see the silicone hose inside. So I will have to make sure that silicone hose gets up and over the valve stem before I clamp it on. Well, these were the fuel line pinch clamps that I found. Metal pinch style used on fuel line, GM diesel. But there's my hose, my pinch clamps down below. I got to move that up. Okay, so I've slid that pinch clamp up and pinched it down what I feel is pretty good. It is on there pretty tight, so hopefully that's going to be a good seal for me. Okay, there it is in the housing, snapped in nice and easy. Be sure that you make this metal switch fit down into that hole where that little metal tab is, and then I will replace the screws. They'll screw in right there and we'll be set. Okay, actually before screwing that in I did snap on the back piece. It goes up and around that, up and over. There's a tab right here. By pushing up on this part, I got the plastic to bend just enough to get that snapped in good. Okay, you want the valve in the off position, which is with this piece all the way up. You'll see this tab you need to slide back into there for your steam valve knob, which should also be in the off position. Again, I took that screw out to loosen this plate and give me some flexibility to slide that back in. I've replaced the top. My wires are in place. I slid the bean hopper back in place. Make sure that you get the gears lined up inside for both the coarseness adjust and the volume adjust. Bypass hopper's back in place. I've put my lid back on my bean hopper. So it's time to get the tank back on this and give it a run. So I'm going to open the steam valve. Let the water flow. I'm going to let that go to steam and we'll check for leaks. And turn it off. I'm seeing no leaks underneath except for the splashes that I made. I'm seeing no leaks down there. I always had puddles. And a nice dry hose. No leaks coming from there, no drips.